Let's bring in Zach Brook with NBC Sports Washington. Zach, thank you so much for joining us. First off, Zach, the defensive honors come out today. Do you have any areas that you want to contest it? Did the NBA get it right?
They absolutely got it right. They got Marcus Smart on the first team. I think you could have maybe given Patrick Beverley some consideration. I really don't think Eric Bledsoe really deserved it, but I don't have any gripes with anything. I think they did pretty well.
All right. When it comes to defenders, who do you think has a better arsenal to beat the Warriors? Would you go with Toronto or would you go with Milwaukee?
I think Toronto has the best defender, but overall I'd have to give it to Milwaukee. Yeah, I think Kawhi Leonard can lock down anybody on the court, but I think with Giannis, who's also in the mix for Defensive Player of the Year, Middleton's a great defender, Brogdon's a great defender. I think overall as a group they do better, but if you're just looking for a one-on-one, I'm obviously going with Kawhi Leonard.
What have you seen change with the way Milwaukee has been playing over the last two games?
I'm just looking at the numbers. I was just looking over the past 4 games. You know that Eric Bledsoe is shooting 11 for 45 in the past 4 games?
Ouch.
Why is he on the court? They have Malcolm Brogdon, who's I personally think is the best guard on that team. He's a rookie of the year, 4-year guy at Virginia. And then you have George Hill, who obliterated Boston in the previous series, and they're going with Bledsoe. I don't get it. Their style of offense is a locomotive down the middle and then swinging out to the open three-point shooters. He's not making them. I don't know what's going on. I think they're going to win this series, but they need to either switch him out of that or get him back in a rhythm, because while they haven't been able to beat Toronto on the road, they're not going to be anything close to beating Golden State if Eric Bledsoe is out there just firing bricks.
Speaking of Golden State, Zach, let's talk about the champs, the reigning champs. How impressive is this run of 5 straight NBA Finals appearances?
I think it's incredible, but honestly, I think you gotta give a shout out to Draymond Green. Personally, he's not my favorite player, but he's been playing better than anybody else on the team. And if he wasn't there, if Durant was there and he wasn't there, I don't know if they would have beaten Portland. I think he's been their most integral piece so far. I know Curry and Thompson get a lot of praise, but he's been everything for them. He's doing on the defensive end. He's doing on the offensive end. He's making the good pass. He's making that key defensive stop, and he's hitting shots, and he's been a factor. And I think he's benefiting from a little bit more spacing with Durant not being there. I'm not saying that it's better that Durant's not, but he's been incredible. And I think if his play continues for the next 4, assuming for their next 7 games, I think he's your Finals MVP.
What do you think is the more impressive streak? The Warriors make it into 5 straight finals, or LeBron going to 8 straight?
Well, LeBron also did it with 2 different teams, technically 3 different teams, but 2 different franchises. I think LeBron willed his club to that many different. He did it sort of kind of solo until he got to Miami. Personally, I think even before the 8 straight, when I think it was 2007, when he brought that Cavs team and they got swept by San Antonio, the second best player on that team was Mo Williams. Williams. And I think you got to give him credit. But for the West is tougher, and that's impressive even to get to 5 with the same group, with the rotating salary cap and different players coming in different pieces and players getting hurt. I think it's remarkable. With LeBron doing it on his own, I think that kind of sets alone. But in the West, I don't think he'd get 8 straight, and I definitely don't think he'd get 5.
So you think if Durant comes back, then Draymond might take a back seat to what he does. We won't be seeing the same Draymond we saw in this last series. But do you think that with or without Durant, the Warriors can beat either the Raptors or the Bucks?
I personally, I don't think Durant is coming back. I think if he was going to be back, he would be with the team on at the games, at least at the home games. But maybe he just doesn't. Maybe he's either, if he's that hurt that he can't be in the public eye, that's concerning. And maybe he doesn't want the exposure to whatever the injury he has to be make it kind of like bigger than it actually is, and that to be blown out of proportions. And aside from their play, they're playing really, really well. I think Milwaukee looks a different team in this series than they did against Boston and against Detroit. Detroit, they just steamrolled them, and then they did the same thing to Boston after that first game. And in this one, I know Giannis was talking before the series about how it's a different team than Boston, and they really can't afford to lose one game. Well, they just lost 2. and they haven't won on the road, and they haven't been playing the best. And Giannis, he's looking a little rattled out there, and I haven't really seen that out of him this year. And I know Middleton had a good game last night, and but he hasn't been consistent in the series. And your starting backcourt's not there. Brook Lopez helped you in game 1. Game 2, they got it done. But game 3 and 4, they didn't. They're not winning, and the bench really hasn't been there for them. I think they need to make some lineup changes, because I don't think they want to see a game 7.
Yeah, I'm with that. Giannis does look rattled. Okay, for somebody that is so skilled, and he's probably going to be the MVP of the regular season, but he's in a stage right now where it's kind of like he doesn't really have any answers right now, right?
No, because he just knows to go right to the rack and then swing it out to the guy who's going to make the 3, but they're not making them. And if that's their only game plan and they're neutralizing it, then what's plan B?
Yeah.
Exactly. No, it does look hideous. Zach, how much money do you think Kevon Looney has made himself this offseason?
I think he's made himself a lot of money. I actually made a joke the other day. I said, do you know the guy who's the backup forward for the Warriors? His name is Kevon. I said, do you think he calls his Spotify Looney Tunes? So that was all right. He's been phenomenal. He's been great. I didn't really think about it much when he was drafted to Golden State. I remember that somebody said he was like, they called him like a poor man's Kevin Durant. I don't know who made that draft comp.
Who said that?
I don't know who said that, but I saw that like it was one of the player comps, like when he was coming. I think where was it? Was it UCLA? I don't remember where he came out of.
Yes, UCLA.
He's been fantastic, and they declined his. I'm pretty sure didn't they decline his 5th-year option? So they're gonna have to pay for him now. It's not just an easy sign. We'll keep him for another year. I think he's been playing really well, and I also think McKinney's been playing really well too. I think these role players are really coming in clutch when they need it, because they're depleted. Without Iguodala last game, without Durant for the past couple, they need somebody off the bench. Jerebko, Jerebko's gonna have his moments. You saw it when he was in Detroit. You saw it when he was in Boston. You saw it when he was in Utah. Bogut's a little up there in age, but I think McKinney and Kevon Looney, they've been great.
Yeah, they have.
Kate, do you have a response to any of the jokes and the lines that he just uttered?
Kevon Looney being a poor man's Kevin Durant, really an interesting assessment there, although it sounds like you're not taking credit for that one. You are taking credit for Looney Tunes on Spotify, and if I were you, Zach, I'm not sure I would take credit for that one.
Fantastic. Hey, real quick, Zach, if you're Portland's front office, are you offering Damian Lillard the Supermax?
Yeah, and you better just hope the same thing doesn't happen what happened with John Wall, because you need to keep him healthy, because he's everything to them. So I'd give it to him, because he clearly wants to be there. Maybe if you want to do a 2-year deal and see if you can get anybody else in the free agent market to help them out. But they look good this year, and I think they should be proud of what they accomplished.
Yeah, that's kind of like a fascinating conversation too, right? I mean, this is a team that just made the Western Conference Finals. What happens with them? Zach Brook with NBC Sports Washington, thank you so much. Enjoy your time. We'll talk again soon as we get closer to the finals, Zach.
Appreciate it. Thank you.